Attention bobsled riders! You will soon be embarking on a thrilling podcast down the icy slopes of the Matterhorn. So please remain seated, keeping your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside the bobsled at all times. Auf Wiedersehen!
Hello, Yodelers! We are the Matterhorn Yodelers. I am your host today, Jackie, and we have...
Japheth.
And...
Peter.
And today we are going to be discussing our go-tos on Disney+. Plus.
I thought this was CBS.
Oh.
I did Amazon Prime.
Well,
Oh man, I subscribed to the wrong thing here. Oops.
if you don't already have Disney+, Plus, I highly recommend it.
It's quite affordable for what you're getting, I think.
There's a lot of material on there, and
Even including if you get the Hulu bundle. You get the Hulu, ESPN, and Disney Plus bundle, and it's like $13 or something like that.
$13.
It's $13 a
the
month.
cost of a Netflix subscription.
Pretty much. It costs as much as Netflix, and you get Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN if you're into the sports things, which I'm not, but...
I'm into sports, and I don't really I don't do ESPN, but again, time is precious.
Yes. Yes. Very true.
It's hard now to sit in a game and watch it for an extended period of time.
But Disney Plus has so much material from, early Disney days to what's coming out each week on Disney Plus.
And also Disney Channel content.
Yes.
There's a ton of it.
I say it makes the majority of it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like when I knew, when they announced Disney Plus and announced what things were going to be on there, and they said all of Disney Channel movies, I was like, oh, okay.
One thing I was disappointed while formulating my list, I didn't see Susie Q on there.
Oh, Susie Q.
Susie Q.
I remember that one.
Pink Power Ranger.
Pink Power Ranger girl. Yeah.
They didn't have it, and I was looking. I was like, "Where's no Susie Q?"
I don't think that one was originally a Disney Channel movie.
so.
I think it was a movie they showed on Disney Channel, but I don't think it was a Disney Channel movie.
Yeah.
But I don't know, for me, when I go on Disney Plus, sometimes it can be a little overwhelming of what to pick to watch.
It's hard to go through, because you go on the homepage, they've got their categories, and you sometimes miss a lot of things that are not going to show up on the front screen.
And we're trying to find the hidden gems here, not the shiny stones that
we're not going
blind you.
We're not talking about Mandalorian or WandaVision or
because you should watch those.
Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Oh, let me scratch those off my list.
These are ones that you're gonna have to dig a little bit to find, but there are hidden gems that aren't front and center when it comes to Disney Plus.
And a lot of them, and with Disney, it's invoking the memories of the past, because they're new to implementing new stuff. So I think a lot of mine come from the past. But there are some new stuff that they're coming out with.
Absolutely.
I've been quite impressed with, and I'm excited to share.
Yeah, so let's go and start. I kind of wanted to start with some of the newer stuff that I like that maybe people don't go to because it's not like a big movie or whatnot. But one of my picks is the one-day shorts and the Inside Pixar series.
I love the one-day shorts.
Right.
Those were great. I wish I had that growing up, because that might have given me a better direction of what I wanted to do with my life.
Yeah, because when we were growing up, it was always I want to be an Imagineer. And once you go there and you meet them, it's a wide range
Oh, yeah.
of skills and talents that these people do. And the different jobs. And they're still Imagineers.
Yep. And to see just the different types of people. You got the candy makers, you got the scuba divers.
Oh, the scuba diver ones.
Yeah. They got, just the people who train the horses and all of that. That was great.
It's great to see all the different positions, and another series is Inside Pixar, which goes into different positions inside Pixar, which is making movies. So it's you've got the script manager, where it's in charge of the script and making all the changes and whatnot, and the animators.
That's kind of cool. I haven't watched it, but it kind of gives that whole dynamic of what goes into a movie. You just think animators and director, and you get the person that does the music, and it's so much more robust than that.
Yeah, so those are like my two picks that are pretty like newer to Disney Plus, but I don't think those are like go-tos. Like they're not front and center.
You're gonna find with a lot of my recommendations, a lot of them are like history of Disney. So like one of them, it was a headliner when it premiered, but I feel like it's fallen on the back corner of Disney Plus. Was the Imagineering story.
I like that.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
that's good.
It gives a great history of what life has been like for Imagineers from the time Walt started it all the way to today, where I think it ends with them working on Galaxy's Edge, the Star Wars land. And so, like, you literally, and it's like, I'm trying to think, is it 4 or 5 episodes long? And they go into a lot of detail, and you learn a lot. So, like, I really enjoyed that little mini series. Which it's funny because when they announced it as a movie, and they announced it back in like 2015 that they were working on this, and then it got bigger and bigger and bigger and turned into a show.
Oh, wow, they must have had so much concept where like it's bigger than.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's like we need more, and so that's cool that we were given that option.
So,
what do I've got? So these were headliners at first, but I think if people are later to coming into Disney Plus won't know about them, and that goes with The World According to Jeff Goldblum.
yeah, that was a fun series. Jeff Goldblum's just a fun character in general.
He is. He is. He's very entertaining, and he's that person where everyone loves. He's just got this warmth and this energy to where everyone just wants to talk to him, and he seems like that cool uncle. Yeah, everybody's
Yes.
like, "Oh, you're the cool uncle." Like he's that.
Like
and
John Stamos almost.
I actually have a story about him.
Oh.
I don't like John Stamos. But back to Jeff Goldblum. Jeff does a good job. He's given a topic, and they just go into like they have ice cream.
I like the
shoes,
the jeans.
The jeans
episode.
one.
That
was
one
really
was
good.
a very fascinating one for me to watch.
Yeah. It's just if you like those like documentaries of like how it's made. Or like the history of back in the day when History Channel actually showed history
and not ice truckers.
You know, before that there were modern marvels.
Yeah.
This is kind of like that, but it's hip, it's modern, and it's informative. And you just pick it and just.
It's very casual too.
Yeah.
So.
You don't like I'm gonna binge it. No, it's not.
It's one of those things where like it's not one of those things where it's like in 1983. Da, 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 da. It's like
if they do it's like 2 minutes.
Yeah, like it's like we're gonna go talk to this guy that sells sneakers for a living.
I love the sneaker one. That was fun. The whole sneaker world. I was like, whoa! I
have a coworker that loves sneakers.
Sneakerhead, yeah.
So like, oh yeah. I know who that guy was and all that stuff. That guy that bought 300 pairs of shoes and.
Yeah, it just takes you into a world outside of your own. So I appreciate it and I recommend it. And it's learning and it's good. I do have another one that's out there, and Jackie probably agrees with this one. Encore.
Oh, I love Encore.
A lot of people I know like it. So if you like musicals, and if you were in theater in high school,
or any type of like performing
art, you're gonna love this.
You're gonna want to wish that like that happens to you. That you're gonna recreate your old heydays of doing these musicals.
So the premise is you have these people that were in a high school play, and now they're 20 years in the present, and Disney comes in with their theater director and dance performers, and they want you to recreate that play you were in.
And you only have like a week.
You only have a week, and then they throw you on the drama of like high school. So people are like, we were together, and then he broke up with me the day after graduation, and then you're thrown together 20 years later, and the drama's still there, and you see a lot of people go through like the grief of like how hard high school was, or how much they've grown, or just coming to terms with the present, with what their expectations were. And so there's like a bit of therapy there, and so they create that kind of drama. But Yeah, it's fun. It's entertaining.
Oh yeah.
And there's just different time periods. You got people from the 70s, and they got like the 80s. The one that was like threw me off was like High School Musical.
Oh, I didn't care for the High School Musical episodes.
But it just threw me off. Was like, that's a long time ago now, and I'm like, I guess
about
it is.
10 years or so, yeah.
We're getting close to 20.
Yeah.
So it's fun. So like I said, theater or performances, I think it's a lot of fun to watch. Like I said, it was mainstream, and then it kind of just been shelved a little bit because there's so much new content coming out.
Yeah, I hope they do a season 2 of that.
Yeah, I know. Things are just thrown off.
There's a lot of those shows that like prop culture. I don't want to go into detail on all of these, but like prop culture.
Oh yeah.
That was a great one where they show old props from older movies.
Yep.
Like that was so much
good.
fun. Every episode's dedicated to a different movie. So you got props from Lion Witch and the Wardrobe. You got Who Framed Roger Rabbit. They got the Muppet movie, and yeah, that was a great one for sure.
Yeah, so I think some other that I enjoy are all the shorts on Disney Plus.
Yes.
There's a lot of
lot of shorts, and there's actually like a shorts category.
There is.
And it's just like, it's great if you like got like 20 minutes to spare. Just like pop on a quick short, and you could do anywhere from the old classic shorts of like Mickey and Minnie, right, to the newer Pixar shorts, which are so good. And I feel like they release a new one at least every week.
Do they?
Or almost.
Not really. Like,
Oh.
well, the Pixar ones, they released a big chunk at once. They released like 10 recently, the popcorn shorts or whatever.
Right.
So those are fun. Yeah, like some of the ones that I kind of highlighted that I feel like nobody knows who Humphrey the Bear is.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
He's got at least, as far as I know, he's got 2. That one's not in it.
Ah.
That one's not in it, and I think it has to do with rights for Smokey the Bear. Because Smokey the Bear.
Only you can prevent forest
Yeah,
fires. That's what that was.
Yeah. Oh, that was hilarious. But Humphrey the Bear was basically Yogi Bear before Yogi Bear. Yogi Bear was created in response to Humphrey the Bear. And the only reason why Humphrey the Bear didn't take off was because Walt Disney died and the budget got cut, and so did that character. He came at the wrong time, but he is one of the funniest characters Disney has ever created.
He's so expressive.
Yeah.
Yes. So, like, he's got a couple shorts. He's got Barely Asleep and Beezy Bear. Both of them have Donald Duck in it. Hilarious.
Oh, that's a good combo.
Oh,
right
yeah.
there.
Donald Duck and Humphrey the Bear are hilarious together. The B one especially.
I think I remember that one. That one is good. I have a short. I like the Star Wars Forces of Destiny.
Okay, yeah. There's
I haven't seen that one.
Oh man. Star Wars fans, they've got an animated shorts, and they pull from the movies, the TV shows, and they give you like snippets within the Disney timeline.
Mm-hmm. Scroll power.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Big in the girl power. That was one of the missions of Bob Iger. Is just like, hey, we need to emphasize this, and then also with Star Wars too. But yes, a majority of it is girl power. Even on there, it has all females.
It's all female.
But then they later started introducing like Luke Skywalker and Anakin,
Okay.
yeah, and some of the newer ones. But yes, you'll get more little shorts from little missions or little troubles that these characters have to take on. So if you're a Star Wars fan and you want a little bit more Star Wars,
and they're short. They're only like 3 minutes.
3 to 5 minutes,
Yeah.
even if that. So you can binge that within like 3 hours if you really wanted to. I think the credits take longer because they have all the translations from the different countries in there. But if you want more Star Wars, it's fun.
Yeah.
And it's great. I remember stumbling upon it and I was super happy about it.
Yeah, so another one that I like to mention is, it's probably too girly for you guys, but On Point.
My old roommate told me to bring that up.
Love it.
She loved it too.
So On Point is kind of like a documentary day in the life of students that are in the like New York ballet school. So they're not on the company, but they're trying to work towards that or become a professional dancer.
Okay.
So they start with like super young age, students that are like going to be in the Nutcracker, and they kind of go over that story of like auditioning to be in the Nutcracker and practicing in the Nutcracker, and then they have the stage of like the teenagers, those who are in high school that like once they graduate they're going to be auditioning for company spots across the world. And it's just really interesting because it's a whole new world.
Mm-hmm.
These are really disciplined students because they're going to school and they're doing dancing, and it's just an interesting series.
Oh, nice.
I didn't know anything about that show, so I'll add that to my list.
I haven't watched it, but my roommate's like, I haven't watched much on Disney Plus, but she goes, that one was really good. And she used to be a dancer, and she was like, it was great. I could relate to it. It speaks truth.
Right, and at the end, it talks about how they're dealing with COVID.
Okay.
With, like, the online, so it was nice.
All right. While we're in the documentary area,
there's a lot of them. There's a lot of documentaries on
well, you
Disney
have
Plus.
also access to National Geographic.
Nat Geo, yes.
So
there's a ton in there.
So the geographer in me loves that there's these different options. Have I taken advantage of it? No, it's hard to convince my wife. Like, hey.
That's always the hard thing. Like, most of these shows that, like, I have on my list are shows my wife doesn't want to watch, so I have to wait till, like, I'm alone in the house by myself to watch any of these shows.
Or I can put it in the background while I'm, like, doing chores and stuff. And yeah. So I'll start with this one. Japanese. It was a National Geographic documentary about Japan, and it's called Between Earth and Sky. And so it's 3 episodes, and they have great music, and they explain the different parts of Japan, and they just visually show Japan, just its nature and the beauty of it. And my wife has never shown an interest in like going to Asia or Japan. And I used to live in Japan. I was in Okinawa. It was just beautiful. I call it the Hawaii of Japan. It was just an amazing experience. And so I was curious, like, oh, what are they going to say about Okinawa? And so that's how I got sucked into it. And it made me want to go. I was like, I want to go to Japan. And Tess, my wife, watched it, and she was just like, oh, that's beautiful. I would love to go to Japan. So if you're trying to convince your wife to go to Tokyo Disney and you want to show how pretty Japan is, that could be your foot in the door. But it's relaxing, and it's something you can have in the background and just look up and just be like, wow, it's like those beautiful like screensavers you have on your windows.
Right.
Like, what's that? It's fun. And I think I have another.
I have another.
You have another one?
I have a Nat Geo one.
Okay,
on mine.
Let's stick on that.
It's The Right Stuff.
Oh yes, I knew that was going to pop up on yours.
I started watching an episode of it, and I just haven't gotten into it.
So The Right Stuff, it's basically a remake of a movie. I think it was made in the 80s.
Yeah. Jeff Goldblum's in that.
And it's a remake of that movie about the Mercury astronauts as to the journey
before.
Correct. Yeah, the people them trying to get astronauts, the first American astronauts up into space, and that journey. And I thought that whole series was really good. It was very well done. I enjoyed it quite a bit.
I know we were raised by a dad that loves the space program.
Yes.
Do you remember From the Earth to the Moon?
Oh, I want to watch that so bad.
Yeah. How does that compare to this?
It's hard for me to say because it's been such a long time since I've seen Earth to the Moon.
All right. So does that invoke that kind of like same feeling of? Like,
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it has that same feel of like. You get to see the day in the life of these astronauts in their training and the drama. There's a lot of it's very competitive. There's a lot of drama that takes place. So if you think like, oh, it's boring space stuff,
there's a ton of drama. My wife loves this show, and it's full of drama.
Bravo drama?
Lots of drama.
What do you got, Jackie?
That was my. I don't have any other documentaries.
I've got 2 more.
Okay, go
I've
for
got
it.
like 50.
Oh, good. All right. And this may be on yours, Peter, but I know there's Waking Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah.
That one.
Oh, that one's really good.
And for those who grew up in the second golden age of Disney animation with, Little Mermaid.
90s.
90s
Animated movies.
this is a must-watch.
Absolutely.
I feel
yes.
to really appreciate how lucky you are to have been, grow up in that time period and watch those movies. You really get an appreciation for it, and you'll be like, oh, now I really want to watch it, because you've got it's like behind the music of these, and I think, and it was on Netflix years ago.
It was.
And that's when I watched it,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought it was amazing when I watched it there. And from that, you have Howard, which
Yep.
was released by Disney, and it talks about the lyricist behind Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast, Little Mermaid, and his story in junction with Waking Sleeping Beauty. So if you like Waking Sleeping Beauty and you want to know more about the lyricist Howard, which he is in there, he was the driving force for a lot of what was going on with those movies. Then I recommend those 2 documentaries. I really do.
Yeah, they're very well done.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I haven't seen the Howard one yet. I've really been wanting to watch it. I just haven't had an opportunity
Yeah.
to watch
It
the
really
Howard
hits the
one yet.
emotion. It's a very good human piece.
Yes.
It is.
And that's what it does. It's not about the accomplishments that Waking Sleeping Beauty does and the feats from there. It's more about the human story.
Yes, and the struggle he went through at the end of his life period.
Mm-hmm. So I don't want to go too much into a story because it's just I could never do it justice.
Oh,
and
yeah,
that's what the documentary's for. So.
That's right. To piggyback off of Howard, I've got The Boys.
I thought you would do that.
I knew
The
you were gonna
Boys.
do that.
It is one of my favorite Disney documentaries out there because it's about the Sherman Brothers. And those who do not know who the Sherman Brothers are, they are the ones that have created probably the most iconic music Disney has ever produced.
Mm-hmm.
They've done the music for all of Mary Poppins, The Jungle Book, It's a Small World, from theme parks to movies to even Broadway, even non-Disney stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They have produced some of the most iconic music you've ever heard. Winnie the Pooh. And you get to hear their story because their story is interesting. And the only part I'll bring up is that at that time period, he was around with Walt, and at that time, if you were a musician, if you wrote songs for studios or whatnot, you didn't work for a studio. You were just contracted.
Mm-hmm.
They actually, Walt hired them as the studio's music people.
Which is rare.
You know you're good when you get hired
Yes.
on.
They got hired on. It wasn't until Walt was fired that they were kind of let go. You could tell that. In my opinion, and this is just my opinion, I think these 2 guys were Walt's favorite people
Okay.
that he worked with, in my opinion. So, The Boys. Love it. Great.
What else you got?
There's a couple of them that have to do with, they're not necessarily documentaries, but they're clips from old TV shows. You've got Disneyland Around the Season. So this one is Walt Disney in Disneyland, talking about the holidays at Disneyland. Great. Love it. You've got a couple, Man in Space, Mars and Beyond, where Walt Disney was very passionate. If you listen to our Tomorrowland episode, I kind of briefly talked about this. A lot of these 2 specials, Man in Space and Mars and Beyond, literally inspired most of the people who started NASA.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
Okay.
That's how amazing these things are, is that they literally inspired NASA.
Wow.
Into creation, because they came out before the space program even existed.
Yeah.
The story of the animated drawing, you get a little bit behind the scenes there. And this one's not a documentary, but I think it's a good segue into movies.
Yes.
Is The Reluctant Dragon.
Oh.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just watched that recently. Loved
So
it.
I haven't watched it yet, but you were selling me on it last time we were talking about it.
So The Reluctant Dragon, it's basically two things in one. It's basically half of it's the cartoon, which is The Reluctant Dragon, but the first part is a tour through the Walt Disney Studios in the 40s. So like you got to see the process. It was literally like the behind the scenes when nobody else was doing behind the scenes. This literally Walt Disney was the first one to really do like behind the scenes of a studio on what it takes to make movies, animated cartoons and shorts, from animation to drawing to music to color, the whole process. You got to see the whole process, and it's a little entertaining, the guy that is guiding you through the whole story arc. And then you see the Reluctant Dragon at the end of the movie. Great movie. Very underrated. In my opinion, I feel most fans do not even know what this movie is. It's actually considered one of Walt Disney's animated features. So it is on the counter as one of Walt Disney animated feature movies.
Oh, great.
No, it's when we first saw it, I thought it was going to be like a short or like of just this like cute little movie, but it was, I didn't realize how much it dived into the history. And
They have a
the
Wizard of
making.
Oz moment too.
Yeah.
They have a Wizard of Oz moment where they go, the movie starts in black and white and it ends in color.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
Because like when they get to the color department, then the movie turns into color.
Oh.
Yes, it's really cool.
Yeah. It was written very well,
Yes.
I must say. As far as movies, there's a few.
Can I do some throwback?
Oh, yeah.
I got two. We're kind of in that realm, throwback. Mickey Mouse Club.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you like, Peter says, seeing some history, you know, you always hear about the Mickey Mouse Club.
The original Mickey
The
Mouse
original
Club.
one. So, there's like 5 episodes on there. And they even have the original, like, not cartoons, the advertisements.
Yeah.
So, if you just want to
Those
see
are fun.
a throwback from 70 years ago or 65 years ago, it's just a hoot to go back in time. That's really what it is, to where your grandparents, what they watched, or what you watched, you know, it's really cool. And then for us, nostalgia, for anybody that did Saturday morning cartoons, Schoolhouse Rock.
Yes.
You know, you just say conjunction, and then everyone's like, conjunction, junction, what's your function? You know, and the multiplication is like 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. It's just fun to share with your kids if you have it, or just to go down there if you want to learn how a bill is made, or
Yep.
Yeah.
or how law is made. That's right, because I'm just a bill. You
That's
know,
right.
It's fun, and it's short and it's painless. So movies now, right?
Yeah. Go ahead, start us off, Japheth.
Anastasia.
Oh, yeah.
It's not Disney.
When it was released, it's a Fox property.
Yeah.
But now that Disney owns Fox, Disney now owns Anastasia, so now Disney is a Disney movie.
It's a
which
Disney movie.
has been one of those things that like you talk to like people and they could swear that it was a Disney movie.
Yeah, they'd be like, who's your favorite princess? And they're like, Anastasia. And you're like, not a Disney princess.
Oh, yeah, always. And
Always.
when you're at the park, you're like, where can I see Anastasia? When you were just you're like, yeah, you have some morbid things you want to say, but you're like, no, I'm going to leave out Dead in the Forest for time.
Yeah, like that. Well, I mean, a lot of the animators did come from the Disney studios, so that's why you see a lot of similarities in terms of animation style and music and
And you
things
have
like
Meg
that.
Ryan and John Cusack as,
Yes.
as voices of the main characters, so
Yeah.
it's good. I love it. It's like a top 10 like animated feature for me. What else you got, Jackie?
I have the Three Musketeers.
Which one?
Movie.
From the 90s?
No,
I was about to say, I was like, are you talking about the 90s
No,
one? The one we had a
no,
poster up in
Mickey.
a row?
Mickey's.
Oh,
Three-
the Mickey Mouse one.
The
Okay.
Mickey's Three Musketeers.
I love that
It's a
one.
musical, and the music is so good because they like
It's very,
They
it's
take,
opera.
like-
It's opera.
it's opera.
Okay. I vaguely remember. I remember watching it when I was very young. and I don't think I've watched it since.
It's just like Mickey, Goofy, and Donald are the three Musketeers, and
It's a fun adventure. My kids, they enjoyed it when they watched it, so
Well, that's good.
it's a fun little adventure.
yes,
The music is very catchy.
it's very catchy.
One movie I had was Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Mm-hmm.
I love this movie, and I feel like it's a movie that is very important because it'll never happen again.
Never.
Never.
Because the reason why I say that is because it's a movie with complete collaboration with other studios. So you have a movie with
Rivaling.
you've got like Looney Tune characters with the Disney characters.
Oh, you can see a piano duel between Donald Duck.
Best scene of the movie. Donald Duck and Daffy Duck.
Oh.
One of the best scenes of that movie is them having a little piano duel.
That's the best.
It was great. And you see Mickey and Bugs Bunny skydiving. You know, you see Yosemite Sam, you see Dumbo. Like, you'll never see this movie ever, like, made.
No.
Like, what went into making this movie was amazing. Let alone the story is great. It's a great story. Now, I will say this. I would not classify this as a children's movie.
No,
No.
not at all. I mean, yeah, it's you gotta be preteen.
It is
maybe.
definitely PG-13. It is PG-13.
Is it actually PG-13?
It is
rated?
PG. I'm pretty sure it is.
Okay.
Because I did think it came
It
out
was
after
later.
Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's definitely some adult themes, but it's not like inappropriate. It's not like bad. It's not like nudity or anything like that.
Yeah.
But like, there's definitely suggestive material in there. So before you park your 5-year-old in front of the television, just be warned there might be.
Why is Jessica Rabbit doing patty cake with Parquet Maroon?
It's innocent. You saw the pictures. It's just patty cake, all right? Let alone the audio. But
It's good.
But it's a great movie, and Disney had big hopes for Roger Rabbit.
Oh yeah, they put in the theme parks.
He has his own right, and a lot of people don't even know who Roger Rabbit is.
It's like Gadget from Rescue Rangers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same thing. So like, I feel like you'll want to watch a piece of history. It takes place during the Great Depression, time period, and so it's a great movie. It was made in the 80s, so it's a little bit updated in terms of how it looks. But
Yeah, it's a mix of
live action
and
animated.
Yeah.
Yep. Which is a callback to Walt Disney's early work.
Yep.
Some of his first work he did with the Alice comedies, with a live action girl living in a animated world.
Yep.
One movie I want to add to our list is Sister Acts.
Oh,
I
yeah.
love Sister Acts.
Okay.
That's a good.
Whoopi Goldberg, hiding from her ex-boyfriend or boyfriend, because she saw
He's a mob boss.
he's a mob boss, and so she's hiding. She hides in a church and becomes hides as a nun.
Yes. It's her runaway.
Yeah.
It's fun.
I think they're making the third one. I heard that
Yes,
they're working on a third
I think
one.
they are. I don't know how I feel about it, but we'll see.
It is what it is.
We're so numb to these remakes, and if they aren't good, you just ignore them.
Yep.
I've only Ghostbusters. I've watched a little bit of the new one. I was like, nah, I'm good. I just stopped.
There's only moments of the Ghostbusters that I feel like gives it some justification, but most of it's not very good.
All right, so now we're in kind of the throwback of the 90s. I'm
Yes.
going to recommend The Rocketeer.
Yep.
I love that movie. It's just a gem. It's if you like the Indiana Jones style, got bad guys, you got mob, you got Nazis, you've got a guy with a rocket. It's that pre-World War II era, Art Deco kind of scene, and I just love everything about it. It's one of those movies I wish it did better, because we would have gotten more from it.
Yeah, I think so. I also have Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
I knew that was going to make
that's
it.
a good one.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, the first one. The other one's The first one is really good. I love that opening animated cinematic of that part, and then the whole aspect of like
I've got the theme song playing in my head as you described it.
yeah, it's got
Rick Moranis.
Rick Moranis in there. Like, he's hilarious, and it's just a journey of 4 kids trying to make it from one point of the yard to the other.
and yeah, it's a fun adventure. I recommend it as well.
It's a great one.
I want to put in the live-action 101 Dalmatian movie.
But Glenn Close is Crow.
Yeah. I loved that movie as a kid, and then I watched it and I was like, oh, this is so good. Just love it. And then
You would like it.
Kind of off topic. Have you guys seen the new Cruella trailer?
yeah.
Okay.
I
Is it
have.
good?
It has very. I haven't seen the Joker, but it definitely
it's
has
similar
Joker
vibes.
Yeah.
But yeah. Another one that I have is it's a musicals, but Into the Woods.
Agony.
That's the only thing I know from it.
That's my favorite song.
And they also have like the Newsies, but like the Broadway stage production on Disney Plus, which is nice.
Gotta love Batman singing,
Yeah.
Christian Bale.
Well, that's the movie.
I know. But I'm just saying, like,
Where's the paper? Where is it? I've got a movie that we grew up loving, which a lot of people may not like, but it's got that Mighty Ducks style of humor. So if you like the Mighty Ducks, you might.
It was made in the same time frame, so a lot of
Yes.
these people are in the same movies. So a lot of these kids are,
They're there. It's Heavyweights, and so it's a movie about kids at a fat camp, and they are used to a fun place where they can be fat and not be afraid of being made fun of while trying to lose weight. But really, they're themselves, and they think they're gonna have fun, but the camp is bought out, and the owner actually wants them to lose weight, and
Yeah, 'cause
Ben
it's-
Stiller is the
yeah.
camp counselor, and this is typical Ben Stiller, where he's crazy, over the top. It's early in his career, and it's just fun.
Yes.
Just little snippets. It is 90s with their humor, so just remember that it's not great, but it's fun.
yeah.
Yes, there's definitely some good one-liners in that movie.
Don't put Twinkies on your pizza. If you say that line, you'll know someone who is your age, because they'll be like, oh, yes.
That's right. I have another movie here. One I think connects to the parks that I feel a lot of people have not seen is The Adventures of Ichabod and Mr. Toad.
I think it's a good one for people to
Like,
exposed to.
because we've got the Mr. Toad's Wild Ride at Disneyland, which is a great ride, but I can guarantee probably more than 75% of the people that visit that park have even seen the movie, that short for Mr. Toad.
Mm-hmm.
Great story, very fun. Kind of follows the ride itself, except for the last scene, so to speak. But then there's the story of Ichabod and the Headless Horseman, which I love that story.
It's a great one.
There's a great song in there where he's being told about the Headless Horseman. Like, it's one of my favorite songs to play during Halloween.
It's a good October film to show your kids for sure.
It's true.
It's a good fall piece.
It is. So I would recommend that. Like, it's simple. It's just some shorts. Some shorts that not necessarily Walt Disney wanted made, but he was like, whatever, just put it out there. Let's just say he wasn't necessarily a big fan of Mr. Toad.
He's a different character.
Yeah.
He
was not a big fan of it, but it was made, and then it got put off, and put back on, and put off, and then eventually it got made in combination with Mr. Toad
Toad forever.
Well, because it did well when it finally released. It did well, and so they put it in the park.
So going along with in the park, Epcot is getting the Tron roller coaster, and it's based off of the Tron movies. So there was a movie in the 80s where Jeff Bridges' character gets sucked into his computer and he's battling to get out. It's weird watching it. I don't know
Now, yes.
But
now
back then it was like cutting edge, and so you have to look at it that perspective. Like, this movie was made in the 80s where like personal computers were in their infancy, and it kind of blows your mind while watching it what they accomplished.
And if you watch an episode of Pop Culture, they have a Tron episode, and they talk about the work that was done to make that movie possible in the 80s.
Yeah.
Like, it's amazing.
You have to watch it like how you watch Star Wars. Like, yeah, you watch Star Wars now, and you're like, okay, it's kind of like, but you put it into the mind frame of like the time. You're like, this movie was mind blowing, and I think Tron is that.
I think so.
For sure.
Yeah.
And then there's the sequel, Tron Legacy, that takes place 20 years later. Is that right? 20, 30 years? Somewhere
Something like that.
25 years. And Disney was hoping for it to be a lot bigger. Didn't happen, but is visually so pleasing to me. And it builds off of what was done in the previous one and kind of gives you some closure to that story and what was brought up. There's a cartoon.
There was a cartoon that was released shortly after the Tron Legacy, the sequel, which our father Yodeler, he was a big fan of.
Yes.
It was Tron. I have it written down here. Tron Uprising. It's 3D animation, so it's not like the sharpest of animation, but the story is very interesting.
Get you in the universe.
Yes, I think it takes place before the sequel.
I think it has to.
Yeah, I think that's where it takes place. It takes place before the sequel movie itself, about Tron, the original Tron, trying to teach another program to be his replacement, sort of thing. So, very fun, very much like a Batman Beyond situation where Bruce Wayne's training the next Batman.
Oh, cool.
Sort of thing. So.
All right. Are we good on movies?
I've only got one more thing
Okay.
to bring up. It's 10 Things I Hate About You.
Oh, yeah.
This is it's a top 5 high school movie for me. It takes place in the late 90s. It's cheesy. It's such a throwback for me, but every time I see it, I go, I want to watch it. So
It's an easy movie just to get, like, sucked into.
So it's there. It's got its Batman reaches with Heath Ledger and Joseph Gordon-Levitt, So if you're big fans of those Batman movies, you can see some of those characters. They got Allison Mack. Remember from the movie? She's in the movie too. So I'm done. I don't have anything else. What do you guys got left?
I still got quite a bit, but we've already vaguely talked about most of this stuff here. So the one I do want to leave off on, one show that has become a new favorite in my household, is Gravity Falls.
Oh, yeah.
My
husband loves it.
It's a great show for kids as well as for adults who are watching it with their kids. It's a great family show. It's a cartoon, and that might put some people off, but there's a very strong narrative. There's a great overarching storyline. Yeah, some of the episodes are kind of goofy and silly, but like the whole storyline of the entire series is like fascinating, and it definitely draws you in because like they give you little bites every episode, and you get more and more invested into the whole overarching storyline of what happens in Gravity Falls, Oregon, I think, and this little, hick town.
Yeah.
That's probably the best way to
Yeah.
put it. It's like a hick town in Oregon. So
I resent that. I live in Hicktown, Oregon.
There's some others that I just want to throw out there. It's not like a shorter movie, but it's just something to put on the TV while you're doing something, as far as, but you just don't want like a show on, which is Disney Sunrise.
Oh, the sunrise and the Zenimation.
Zenimation.
And Dory's Reef Cam.
Okay.
Where it's basically...
It's like the Yule log.
Yeah, it's like
Okay.
Yule log, but it's, Finding Nemo, and you've got all the characters coming around. So I would say it's a great option if you're trying to do, like, quiet time with your kids.
Impossible.
Or just, like, want to wind down, read a book or something, but want something on
Background.
the TV.
Okay.
It's a good option, and it's just fun.
Sounds good.
Well,
I hope this was a good list for people that may not know about certain titles. One last recommendation that I would give, not about like something to watch, but how to find things, is if you go to the search part of Disney Plus, they've got different categories, so you can go search by category. One of my favorites is Through the Decades, where you literally can see things. And it's listed through the decades. So the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, the 60s. So if you are in the mood for something older, you can go click on there and pick your decade.
Oh, that's a cool feature. I didn't know that.
Yes, so that's one of my favorite ways to like find things and be like, oh, I think that was like in the 50s, and you just scroll through and you're like, yep, there it is. If you didn't remember what the movie was called or whatnot. So
I think there's one feature I wish Disney will add, and I really think they will eventually, is like the randomizer where you just click like watch.
that would be fun.
Where is it going to take me? I tried to
Where
do it
is
on
it
Netflix. I did not like where it took me.
No.
Sometimes.
Like they have it on Netflix, but you're just like, you can't trust all the content
was
on
like,
Netflix.
My child's still awake. We need to turn this to something else.
But on Disney, I feel Disney Plus is a pretty safe platform
Oh yeah, I think so.
to do it on, so I really hope they add that feature. But, so Disney, if you're listening, add it. That is all the time we have. We will, you can contact us at Facebook, Instagram, or email us at matterhornyodlers@gmail.com. Let us know what your go-tos are on Disney Plus.
Your favorites that may not be on the front page.
The front
Your
page.
hidden gems.
Yeah, what are your hidden gems?
Your diamonds in the rough.
But we appreciate you listening to us, and have a magical day.
Thank you for joining us on this week's episode of the Matterhorn Yodelers. Please remember, before your bobsled comes to a complete stop, to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. And remember,
Remain seated, please. Permanecer sentados, por favor.